J-Boy.
MaxSoul. I mean, a straight b-boy at heart, man. You know, I grew up in Chicago, northwest side of Chicago. Started breakdancing when I was like 6 years old. So I grew up in a hip-hop culture. My brother was a graffiti artist. Grew up around everything hip-hop, man. The first thing I remember was putting on like a Michael Jackson glove and doing like the moonwalk and trying to do like Michael Jackson routines and stuff like that. But that's where I come from in terms of like, you know, the whole idea of hip-hop. But I mean, I grew up also as an actor too, man. I started doing plays when I was like 5 years old. Not 5 years old, I was in 5th grade actually. And so I've always been kind of like just a person into the arts, person that, you know, loves performance, grew up dancing, grew up doing poetry too, and then got into hip hop probably when I was like, let's say maybe in 8th grade, I think, maybe before like freshman year of high school when I started like actually writing music and stuff like that. So I would say MaxSoul is a combination of a few things, man. Acting and music, I would say for the most part, in terms of what I do professionally. So. Well, I mean, the truth is, man, is MaxSoul is really more the hip hop artist. That's like my hip hop stage name. And then Max, my real name, Max, is the actor. And I really do separate them as much as I can, man. I don't, you know, they're two different cultures to me. Not cultures, but two different mediums. And I respect like the theater. I came up in the theater, man, so I studied theater and I did plays, and I respect that 100%. So when you're talking about the acting side of things, that's a whole different world for me. It almost doesn't even mix with the music that I do. Only performance-wise, you know, obviously, you know, you grew up doing theater, so when you're on stage doing music, you're a lot more comfortable and you're a lot more, you know, seasoned in terms of performance. But in terms of the actor, yeah, I love movies, man. I love television. I love plays. I mean, I studied theater, did theater in Chicago, all the like smallest to the biggest theaters here in Chicago, and it's, you know, it's what I do now. It's my living. It's what I want to continue to pursue in terms of wanting to get more into like, you know, shooting feature films. A lot of the work that I've done now has been in television. It's been great, and but it's definitely my passion, man. It's something that I do full time, and I love it. And I love movie making. I love the magic of movies and the magic of television and the magic of live theater too, man. So.
And I want you.
Well, in terms of you know, Chicago hip hop, and when I came up, man, I came up with listening to Juice freestyle, man, and he was someone that I looked up to, and like, you know, I saw like, man, that's like raw talent, man. You know what I mean? And so for me, in terms of like local artists, man, Profound at the time, he was around the same time Juice was around. You know, the whole Moment crew were doing it big, like, you know, in terms of like hip hop, and then, you know, cats like Cool Out Chris, man, that I grew up around, cats like Immaculate, the Rec Center, all those cats that I grew up in terms of music here in Chicago. And then in terms of just hip hop in general, man, I mean, I used to love artists like Big L was one of my, like, you know, kind of cats that I like really listen to. Who else, man? I mean, so many artists, man. I love Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Common, Slick Rick. Who else, man? I mean, around that time when I grew up in hip hop, and like, you know, and we started like kind of like MCing and stuff like that.
That you are in the dress, balance, not more, nothing less.
In terms of acting, I like a lot of the greats, man. I love fucking Sean Penn. I like actors like Billy Bob Thornton, man. Benicio del Toro, Johnny Depp, Daniel Day-Lewis. And then I love a lot of the ladies, man. Nicole Kidman, Julianne Moore. I like Judi Dench. Who else? There's a lot of like kind of like people that I like really. Anytime they do a movie, I'm gonna be there for sure.
trying to get next to you.
It's a surreal feeling, man. I mean, you know, when you growing up in Chicago, it's a tough town, man. So, you know, you only dream of these things. They're ideas at first, and you know, when you take that big step. I knew when I was in college, man. When I was in college, I knew that I was going to take the step to head out to LA, man, to pursue it like on a full-time basis. And it was not by any means, man, like an easy feat, man. It was like you had to go out there, and I started from scratch. I didn't know anyone out there, man. I was blessed to have been selected for like a showcase that ABC sponsored for the first time in Chicago. The company came out here and selected like 16 actors out of like 600 to kind of present to the network executives of who they thought were going to be upcoming television actors. And so that gave me an opportunity to like meet the executives at ABC, and so that was kind of like a good notch under my belt before I went out to LA. And when I got out to LA, I heard CBS was doing the same thing, and that was kind of like the first time I was tested, because I was like, all right, cool, I got the one in Chicago, but coming out to LA, I'm gonna audition with like maybe over 1,000 actors for the same type of showcase. And I was selected for that, man. I was one out of this 18, I think, actors that got selected for that. So immediately, like, you know, ABC and CBS were kind of like on my side and on my team in terms of like, you know, wanting to get an agent and a manager to start like representing me. I was able to say, well, listen, you know, ABC and CBS, like, they put their word on me. So, but after that, you know, you get an agent and a manager, and you got to start auditioning, man. And the truth is, man, I auditioned 76 times before I got my first television job, man. And it was a small co-star role on a show called Surface for NBC. And the dope thing about it was that, you know, they flew me out to North Carolina. So here's my first job. And I'm on a first-class flight to North Carolina to work for like 2 weeks and stuff, man. So being, you know, first time ever flying first class. So it was like, I'm sitting in first class, like not knowing how to, you know, how to even work the seats and like work, you know, it was all new, man. It was like so much space, and so that was like, you know, that was really exciting, man. So it was like, it was, you know, it was a surreal feeling for me. And then being on a set for the first time was like, you know, just trying to like, you know, get everything in order, making sure that I wasn't stepping on anyone's toes and stuff like that, man. So, but it was definitely, you know, well worth it. 76 times in these audition rooms, and it was like finally my first job. That kind of led to other opportunities, man.